नहीं हो रहा है, स्क्रीन में देखो। वो तो ठीक है, यहाँ कैमरा यहाँ से शुरू हो जा रहा है और यहाँ जा रहा है, सो डोंट वरी। शुरू हो गया, चलो लेट स्टार्ट। सो हेलो एंड वेलकम to today's session on supposedly art of answer writing. Although this term actually is very disputable. ये आर्ट है, साइंस है, क्राफ्ट है, स्किल है, एक्चुअली इट्स मिक्स ऑफ ऑल ऑफ देम. द लैंड वेयर आई कम फ्रॉम, we have a bhakti saint called Samarth Ramdas, and he had said, "दिसा माझी काही तरी ते लिहावे, प्रसंगी अखंडित वाचित जावे." So you have to keep writing something every day, and whenever possible, wherever possible, keep on reading and reading and reading. And that he has uttered for laymen, common people. But in case of UPSC aspirants, it becomes all the more important that you keep writing something every day. And today's discussion is primarily about that: why, how, and what of answer writing. I will initially speak for a few minutes on the basic need, how of the rather why of answer writing, and afterwards we have our expert Harish sir. He will speak on the modalities and operational issues of answer writing, how exactly to do it, and what are the hurdles you will face and how to overcome those hurdles. तो चलो शुरू करते हैं. ये देखो, सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है वाई का, वो है इन मार्क्सिस्ट थियरी सब्स्टिट्यूशनिज्म. डू यू नो व्हाट इज सब्स्टिट्यूशनिज्म? देयर इज ए थिंकर कॉल्ड स्टालिन. स्टालिन हैड सेड वंस अपॉन अ टाइम कि जनता जो है, वर्किंग क्लास, दैट इज सब्स्टिट्यूटेड बाय द कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी. तो कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी रिप्रेजेंट्स ऑल द प्रोलेटेरिएट. कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी भी इतनी बड़ी है, वो सारा कुछ नहीं खुद से कर सकती, तो देयर हैज़ टू बी हाई कमांड, अ पॉलिट ब्यूरो विच रिप्रेजेंट्स सिम्बॉलिकली और पावर वाइज पूरी की पूरी पार्टी. तो द हाई कमांड, द पॉलिट ब्यूरो सब्स्टिट्यूट्स द पार्टी. और पॉलिट ब्यूरो में 30, 40, 50, 100 लोग होंगे, कैसे काम करेंगे? तो इट इज़ वन पर्सन, द डिक्टेटर, ही सब्स्टिट्यूट्स द पॉलिट ब्यूरो. तो जनता के थ्रू पार्टी, पार्टी के थ्रू हाई कमांड, हाई कमांड में एक सिंगल आदमी. सो एवरीबडी इज गेटिंग सब्स्टिट्यूटेड बाय समथिंग एल्स, एंड उस आदमी के थ्रू बाकी सारा चलेगा. इन योर केस ऑल्सो द मेंस, एक मेंस का जो पड़ाव है, दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पड़ाव फ्रॉम स्कोरिंग एंड गेटिंग रैंक. एंड इन दैट पड़ाव आपको सब्स्टिट्यूट करता है आपका आंसर. यू आर नॉट जस्ट फॉर योर होल पर्सनैलिटी इन मेंस, ऑल्दो मेंस इज द मोस्ट क्रुशियल थिंग, जहाँ पे सारे नंबर काउंट करते हैं, आपको कौन सा कार्डर, कौन सा रैंक, कौन सी सर्विस मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा, इंटरव्यू कॉल आएगा, नहीं आएगा, 1 साल होगा जाकर, जो कुछ है, इट इज़ डिपेंडेंट ऑन मेंस. एंड मेंस में आपने कितनी पढ़ाई की है, आप कितने सुंदर दिखते हो, आपके नोट्स कितने बढ़िया है, आपने कितने साल की तैयारी की है, कौन से कोचिंग की है, कितनी रिविजन की है. नथिंग ऑफ दैट मैटर्स इफ इट इज़ नॉट रिफ्लेक्टेड इन द आंसर्स. यू आर एज गुड एज योर आंसर्स. योर आंसर्स आर सब्स्टिट्यूटेड बाई यू, और यू आर सब्स्टिट्यूटेड बाय योर आंसर्स, और उसके आधार पे ही आपको जज किया जाएगा. इसीलिए आंसर राइटिंग इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट. आप उतनी ही कीमत रखोगे यूपीएससी के लिए जितने आपके आंसर की कीमत होगी. दैट इज वन पॉइंट. एंड यू ऑलवेज इमेजिन टू सिनारियोज. आपने कई लोग देखे होंगे, लाइक टुडे वी आर इन ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर. इन और इन गलियों में आपको बहुत लोग मिल जाते हैं जिनके साथ बैठो, चाय पियो, बात करो, विल कम टू नो इसके पास तो बहुत ज्ञान है, ही इज़ अ वेरी नॉलेजेबल पर्सन, बट ही इज़ नॉट इन द लिस्ट आफ्टर ईयर्स एंड ईयर्स ऑफ प्रिपरेशन. ऐसे क्यों होता है? देयर इज अ गैप बिटवीन नॉलेज एंड व्हाट ट्रांसलेट इनटू द आंसर. तो नॉलेजेबल लोग सारे ज़रूर नहीं सिलेक्ट हो जाए बिकॉज ऑफ द वन क्रुशियल डिफरेंस, आंसर राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस. ऑन द अदर हैंड, lot of you come after mains or during preparation, you go to many coaching institutes, websites, and download toppers copies. और टॉपर्स कॉपीज का अब देखते हो कि भाई देखे रैंक 1 ने क्या लिखा, रैंक 5 ने क्या लिखा, एंड जब उनका आंसर, अरे ये तो मैं भी लिखता, अरे देखो इसमें गलती मिली, इसको ये भी नहीं पता, ये तो फैक्चुअल एरर है. या फिर वो बढ़िया पॉइंट जो आई थिंक इज वेरी एसेंशियल इज नॉट इन द आंसर. हाउ कम ही इज और शी इज रैंक 1? ये कैसे हुआ? फ़र्क यही है कि अंडर प्रेशर, अंडर टाइम, एट दैट स्टेज इन द क्लासरूम, वो आदमी उतना ही डिलीवर कर पाया, एंड दैट ऑल्सो ब्रॉट दैट पर्सन रैंक 1. ये समझो. तो उतना भी करो तो आपके पास अगर अभी 100 है, तो वहाँ तक जाते जाते सूख जाती है कई नदियाँ. तो क्लासरूम में जाके, एग्जाम हॉल में जाके लिखते समय तक वो 100 का 20-25 रह जाता है। तो हमें कोशिश क्या करनी है, वो 100 का 50 तक भी आए, वी आर थ्रू, नैया पार। एंड दैट कम्स थ्रू प्रैक्टिस, कांस्टेंट प्रैक्टिस। तो डोंट जज दैट वे, आंसर राइटिंग इज एक्सट्रीमली क्रूशियल। नाउ आई विल lay down 3 specific things because of which I think is answer writing becomes all the more crucial. कहानियाँ तो ठीक है। First important thing is what your amorphous thoughts you have in your mind get concretized. आपने देखा होगा मन में आप सोचोगे कि मैं दिवाली अभी आ रही है, दिया बनाऊंगा, आकाश कंदील बनाऊंगा, लैंटर्न्स, बट व्हेन यू एक्चुअली स्टार्ट मेकिंग देम विथ पेपर एंड कैंची एंड एवरीथिंग, इतने अच्छे नहीं बनते। व्हेन यू थिंक ऑफ अ पेंटिंग ऑफ मोनालिसा, यू कैन क्लोज योर आइज एंड रिमेंबर ऑल द डिटेल्स, यू स्टार्ट पेंटिंग योरसेल्फ, वो इंसान है या औरत है पता नहीं चलता। व्हेन यू वॉच अ क्रिकेट फ्रॉम इन फ्रंट ऑफ टीवी, तो ऐसे शॉट मारना चाहिए था, बोलना बड़ा आसान है, बैट लेके देखो कितनी हेवी होती है। सो आंसर राइटिंग में क्या होता है, व्हेन यू रीड समथिंग, व्हेन यू रिवाइज समथिंग, व्हेन यू टेक नोट्स ऑफ समथिंग, आपको लगता है आपको समझ में आया है, आप ऐसे लिखोगे, बट जब लिखने जाओगे तो दिक्कत होगी। तो आपके जो एमोरफस थॉट्स है, दे स्टार्ट गेटिंग कॉन्क्रीटाइज। दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। व्हाई? बिकॉज वन मोर थिंग आई विल टेल यू फ्रॉम माई ओन पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस। अराउंड 15 years ago I was appearing for GRE and TOEFL। उसमें एक TOEFL जो एग्ज़ाम होती है आपको बाहर जाने के लिए, यूएस जाने के लिए, आई वाज इंग्लिश इंग्लिश का एग्ज़ाम है। उसमें वो सारी चीज़ें चेक कर रहे थे। आपको इंग्लिश आता है मतलब बस इंग्लिश नहीं आता, इंग्लिश राइटिंग, रीडिंग, लिसनिंग एंड स्पीकिंग। They check all the 4 faculties separately and all of them are assigned in equal number of marks। तो उसके लिए मैंने सारी तैयारी कर ली। आई गॉट वेरी गुड स्कोर इन अदर 3 बट वेरी बैड स्कोर इन स्पीकिंग, क्योंकि कभी प्रैक्टिस नहीं करी थी। आई केम फ्रॉम अ स्टेट बैकग्राउंड, मराठी मीडियम बैकग्राउंड। तो यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस एवरी सिंगल थिंग स्पेसिफिकली। बस पढ़ने से, बस रिविजन करने से काम पूरा नहीं होता। द मोर कंटेंट यू हैव, जो मन में डर रहता है पहले कंटेंट सारा आ जाए फिर लिखूं, जरूरी नहीं है कंटेंट के बाद भी लिख पाओगे, नहीं होगा। राइटिंग इज अ सेपरेट आर्ट और क्राफ्ट और साइंस, आपको उसको सेपरेटली ही प्रैक्टिस करना होगा। दैट इज वन पॉइंट। द सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इज दैट बहुतों के मन में एक भूत होता है, एंड दैट भूत इज लाइक, यू थिंक कि मेरे नोट्स इतने बढ़िया होंगे, मेरे आंसर इतने सुपर क्वालिटी होंगे, सो दैट द सेंस ऑफ परफेक्शनिज्म जब तक नहीं आएगा तब तक मैं क्या ही लिखूं, या फिर एक लिखूंगा, अरे यार बहुत घटिया है, आई एम डीमोरलाइज, छोड़ दो, और 4 किताबें और पढ़ लूँ। सो दैट ऑल्सो डजेंट वर्क। The purpose of doing more and more answer writing is not to become perfect only. Perfection is an illusion, ये समझ लो। More than that, to understand what is practical, what is not gonna happen और what is gonna happen। तो आपके एक्सपेक्टेशंस इन ट्यून हो जाते हैं। आप एग्जाम में क्या कर सकते हो और क्या कर नहीं सकते हो आपको पता चल जाता है। सो योर प्रिपरेशन एंटायरली गेट्स इन ट्यून। फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई विल गिव एन वेरी सिंपल एग्जाम्पल फ्रॉम माई ओन लाइफ। अगेन, अब बूढ़े हो गया हूँ, तो 10-12 ईयर्स से मैंने प्रिपेयरिंग, उसमें आई वाज रीडिंग उपेंद्र सिंह। उपेंद्र सिंह में आई रेड वन सेक्शन, 2-3 पन्ने का था। आई थॉट इमीडिएटली लेट मी राइट द आंसर। मैंने अभी भी पढ़ा है, अंडरलाइन की है, स्टार मार्क सब कुछ किया है, मुझे सब याद है, फ्रेश मेमोरी, लेट मी राइट द आंसर। लिखने गया, आई कुड नॉट राइट इवन इंट्रोडक्शन। आई रिविजिटेड द पेजेस, आई केम टू नो मैंने जहाँ अंडरलाइन किया था वो तो लाइन फजूल की, कुछ काम की ही नहीं है आंसर में लिखने की। और जो जिस लाइन को मैंने ऑब्वियस समझ के दरकिनार किया था, ना अंडरलाइन किया था, ना पॉइंट आउट किया था, दैट लाइन मेक्स परफेक्ट सेंस एज इंट्रोडक्शन। तो इसका मतलब क्या है, व्हाट इज़ द डिमांड ऑफ द एग्ज़ाम, व्हाट इज़ द डिमांड ऑफ आंसर राइटिंग, मुझे पहले अगर नहीं पता है और मैं पढ़े जा रहा हूँ, नोट्स बनाए जा रहा हूँ, तो एवरीथिंग बिकम्स ऑब्सोलीट वेरी सून। डिमांड ऑफ द एग्ज़ाम आपके मन में तभी क्लियर होगी जब आप अधिक से अधिक लिखोगे। योर इट विल नॉट ओनली इम्प्रूव योर आंसर राइटिंग, दैट इज़ द फंडामेंटल पॉइंट, इट विल ऑल्सो इम्प्रूव योर रीडिंग, योर नोट मेकिंग। जनरली नोट्स वी मेक देम वंस, विद इन 6 months वी फील कि वो ऑब्सोलीट हो गए। क्यों हो गए? क्योंकि राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस किए बिना बनाए थे, तो आपको जो लगा था काम का है वो आपने नोट्स में उतार दिया। सच में काम का है कि नहीं आपको पता ही नहीं, कभी लिखा ही नहीं कभी। सो यू हैव लॉट्स ऑफ, सॉरी फॉर स्पीकिंग हिंदी, आई विल कम बैक टू इंग्लिश, बट माय पॉइंट इज दैट your reading comprehension improves, your notes become much sharper if you have the habit of doing regular answer writing practice. Now I'll tell you one more thing. Lots of people also believe that once they do the foundation course or once they have finished reading the books, it has become, and revise भी कर लिया है, it is the time to go to test series. test series doesn't work. यहाँ पे there are lots of coaching institutes where you go and pay hefty amount of money for year round test series and then sometimes you don't go. आपके सामने 10 पेपर्स होते हैं, आप जाके 5 ही लिखते हो. It is a typical gym membership scenario, right? Reason being that even if you attend those 5 tests, आप लिख नहीं पाते तो demoralize होते हो. Why? Because the kind of skill you develop in a full length test series is little bit different than the kind of skill you develop in daily answer writing. दोनों ही ज़रूरी है. Both of them are necessary and none of them is replacement of other. ये समझो. When you do 1 or 2 answers every day, you think of a structure, presentation, argumentation, flow, every single thing, and improve the content of that topic and your articulation of that topic. And that requires its own practice. But when you go for a 3-hour test in which you have to write 20 answers, वहाँ पे होता क्या है? वहाँ पे the question is not individual answer, there is time pressure. You have to finish in the 3 hours. There is strategy, there is एंग्जाइटी, हाथ दर्द करने लगा है, प्रायोरिटी किसको रखे, एंड में क्या लिखे, क्वालिटी कैसे कंसिस्टेंट रखे, पहले 4 सवाल अच्छे लिखे, अंत में जाके जाके मैं कोलैप्स हो गया मेंटली, इमोशनली, जो कुछ. जहाँ पे मुझे कम आता है वहाँ पे टाइम प्रेशर में हाउ डू आई इंक्रीज कंटेंट एंड मेक इट मोर ऑब्वियस. समटाइम्स द प्रॉब्लम इज रिवर्स. आई नो टू मच ऑन सर्टेन टॉपिक, उसको जल्दी निपटा के आगे कैसे चलूँ. तो ये स्ट्रैटेजिक इश्यूज जो होते हैं दे आर टैकल बेटर व्हेन यू राइट फुल टेस्ट. बट यहाँ पे इंडिविजुअल आंसर इम्प्रूव का स्कोप थोड़ा कम होता है, उसको आपको पहले जाना करना पड़ता है. सो यू डू नेट प्रैक्टिस फर्स्ट एंड देन यू गो फॉर प्लेइंग टेस्ट मैच. टेस्ट मैच में नेट प्रैक्टिस नहीं होती है. सो डेली आंसर राइटिंग इज नेट प्रैक्टिस एंड देन यू एंटर इनटू द टेस्ट मैच. तो आपको दोनों करना है. बट द क्वेश्चन इज व्हेन शुड आई स्टार्ट. शुभस्य शीघ्रम, और क्या कहें. सो द पॉइंट इज दैट इफ यू हैव फिनिश्ड योर फाउंडेशन कोर्स, then you have to start daily answer writing, either with some coaching institute on your own. That is besides the point, but you have to do it every day. Any day, मैं हमेशा क्लास में कहता हूँ, any day in which you are not writing either one answer or not having a look at PYQs for a few minutes, उस दिन में आप 12 घंटा पढ़ाई क्यों ना करो, बेकार है. It has to be with some reflection about PYQs, at least for 5 to 10 minutes on that topic which you are reading, and 1 or 2 answer writing every single day. Only then it is fruitful and यूजफुल इन लॉन्ग टर्म. तो कब शुरू करें, अभी शुरू कर दो. इफ़ यू लैक कंटेंट, तो अगर आपने 3 महीने 6 महीने भी तैयारी की है, इट इज़ द टाइम टू स्टार्ट राइट नाउ. ठीक है. नाउ आई विल इंट्रोड्यूस हरीश सर. ही विल एक्सप्लेन यू अबाउट what is answer, what to do, how to do, etc. in detail. And you can ask all the questions to him also. We have the YouTube open over here and the chat box is there.
Hello everyone. Thank you Nikhil sir for giving us the brief overview about the answer writing. So first of all, the main point which I want to convey here is that answer writing is very important part of mains examination. Like that will decide, as sir said rightly, that will decide your everything, your rank, your cadre and your post and everything. Okay, so answer writing plays a very important role. And as sir said earlier, that even if you're reading 12 hours a day, okay, even if you're reading countless time, you're reading books, you're collecting the different contents, and however much you read or learn, but without answer writing, you will never get to know or gauge how you're performing. To gauge your performance, it is very important that you should write, and through writing you will get to know, okay, you will get to know your strength, you will get to know your weaknesses, you will get to know the areas of improvement, you will get to know whether you are expressing your thoughts clearly or not, you will get to know whether you are meeting of the um, whether you are meeting the demand of the examiner or not. Okay, so for all this it is very important to write answers. Okay, as sir said that at least write one question daily or two questions daily. Okay, based on the things which you have prepared on that day, at least try to write one or two questions on a daily basis to know, okay, कि मैं जो पढ़ रहा हूँ यार वो मैं एक्सप्रेस कर पा रहा हूँ कि नहीं कर पा रहा. ठीक है, it's a blind journey नहीं चाहिए. journey should be guided. We should we should be in a position to look back, okay, कंटेंट प्रॉपर नहीं था, ठीक है, आर्टिकुलेशन प्रॉपर नहीं था, एक्सप्रेशन प्रॉपर नहीं था, सो दैट वी कैन इम्प्रूव ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, वी कैन स्ट्रेटेजाइज थिंग्स अकॉर्डिंगली, ठीक है. फॉर दैट इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू राइट आंसर्स, okay. And you have seen that people have a lot of content with them, they are reading, they have so many books with them, but if you cannot write that answer in within 3 hours within proper word limit, okay, and even if you are not completing the paper, believe me that whatever your content is, that is of no value if you are not able to complete the paper. Not only completing the paper, but completing addressing the demand of the question, writing within the time limit, writing within the word limit. So they all plays a very important role, and for that you need to practice, practice and practice, okay. So yes, for this I came out with some of the things which is very important, I believe, that while writing answers we should keep in mind, okay. So the very first thing is understanding the demand of the question. See, if you understood the demand of the question, if you properly decoded the demand of the question, believe me, half of the job is done, मतलब 50% काम हो गया, ठीक है. Because the issue with the most of the student is that instead of understanding and decoding the demand properly, they pick one particular word from the question. This year also one of the question in GS2 paper came, the question reads like, discuss the contribution of civil society in women's effective participation in the state legislature. Like how civil society, yesterday I think you pointed out, correct, that how civil society helps in increasing the participation of women in state legislature. Discuss. So the very first thing which we need to understand is that what is the directive given is discuss. So we don't have to do critical analysis of anything, okay. We just have to give the brief idea about the to the examiner that how civil society is helping in women's participation in the state legislation, okay. What few student did that, they took that word civil society and they wrote the answer, the strength of the civil society, this and that. That will not meet the that is not meeting the demand of the question. So it is very important that first we should decode the demand of the question properly, we should understand what is being asked in the question, and we should also give due respect to the directive which is given there. If they are asking us to illustrate, then we have to give examples, okay. If they're asking us to elaborate, then on a similar tone we have to elaborate the answer. If they're asking us to critically examine or critically analyze, then we have to give the challenge. We also have to write the challenges, the limitation or the issues with that particular uh, topic, okay. So it is very important to decode the demand, understand the directive which is given. Believe me, even if you do that, half of your job is done, because you understood what you have to write. Without understanding that what you have to write, and you will simply start writing the answer, that will not help you fetch marks, believe me, okay. So it is very important to understand the demand of the question, and secondly, read the language of the question, okay. Suppose let us say most of the student doesn't know the answer, that how civil society helps in increasing the participation of women in state legislature. So in that scenario, what we should do, we should take heading from that particular question only. At least give this impression to the examiner, okay, I am addressing what is being asked, okay. Try to fit your content according to the demand of the question. Suppose I have a limited content, that okay, civil society plays this role, okay. How civil society helps in women's NGOs also part of the civil society. Similarly, SHGs are also part of the civil society. So we have to give examples, okay. There is Kudam Shri, there is a Seva and everything. They are helping in economic empowerment and social empowerment, and thus that leads to political empowerment, okay. So I have this limited content, so I have to fit in that content according to the demand. So try to show the coherence, getting my point. That will come only if you'll pick the words, the terminologies, the language of the question, and frame your heading, subheading accordingly, okay. So even if you don't know thoroughly, at least you know a little bit about civil society, how it helps in women's participation in state legislature. At least you know a bit. So try to fit in your limited knowledge using the language, using the terminologies of the question. Okay, at least this will give an examiner the idea that there's a coherence in your thought. Okay, so meeting that is very important. Okay, now next part is structuring of the answer. Okay, in structuring also there are two things. One is based on content, another one is based on the special, like how like the presentation part, special structuring. So one is based on the content in which we write about introduction, body and conclusion, and special structuring based on your presentation part. So that more or less deals with the presentation. So the very first one is I'll discuss about the introduction here. Okay, yes, an introduction. See, if it is 10 marker question, or there are 10 marker question and 15 markers question in GS. So you know that there's a issue of word limit also, and there's a time limit also. So we must try to complete our intro within 3 to 4 lines in 10 markers, whereas max to max 5 to 6 lines in 15 markers, not beyond that. We should not stretch beyond that. And in introduction also, there are different type of introduction based on the topic also we can write. Likewise, uh, we can start with the background. Suppose the question is related to history or some of the issue, then we can give a background of that particular topic. Let us say if they are asking about the contribution of women in the revolt of 1857, so we can first give a background about 1857 revolt of 1857, correct? So similarly, suppose there is some issue related to GS2, GS3, Russia Ukraine war, suppose. So we have to give some sort of background. Okay, this is what is happening because of XYZ thing. Okay, so we can start with the background. That is a very common intro to go with. Okay, second part is we can start with current affairs and or else some sort of data. This is more or less suitable for GS2 and GS3. Okay, where we start with the current affairs. Okay, like let us say some question on infrastructure came, so we can start with recently government came out with PM Gati Shakti. Okay, so we can start with, suppose there's a question came on cyclone, so we can mention, okay, recently cyclone Mocha XYZ whatever came. Okay, so in introduction we can also start with the current affair or else some sort of data which we have. Let us say the question comes on GDP or something, so we have a data of economic survey in our hand, so we can start with that also. So in introduction part, especially in GS2 and GS3, we can start with current affair and data. And third way, we have seen that we can start with definition or defining the thing. Okay, this is more or less a question came, suppose a pressure group, so we can first introduce the topic, we can define what pressure group is. Or in ethics paper also, most of the time there are a lot of terminologies are there, so we can write about like introduce those terminologies like courage, fortitude, XYZ. So these are the three common to go with introduction. Okay, we can start with the background, we can start with current affair and data, correct, and third we can start with definition. Yes, so yes, what should be the priority based on the question? Suppose the question comes more or less on current affair, so you must go with the current affair only. In Russia Ukraine war, you're not supposed to write like about the background of India Russia relationship. Okay, so what is recently happening, you should start with that. Getting my point? So based on the demand of the question, you must choose, okay, what to what to pick, background or current affair or data or definition, whichever you think your. And this also depends upon your preparation also. Suppose I have made an introduction on pressure group or civil society, I know the definition correctly. Okay, so I will start with the definition of pressure group because my content is ready now. I don't have to think there in the examination because already there is a lot of pressure. I know there's a time limit. Okay, so if your introduction is already ready, like, see, there are a lot of things which are static in nature in the examination, they will come direct, that will come directly. For let's say self-help group, e-governance, like a topic related to science and technology, disaster management, internal security. Okay, so you cannot make a definition on money laundering there in the examination. So if you know it, directly write the definition or else go with some of the current affair. Getting my point? Got it? Okay. So likewise, there are a lot of static part, and I would suggest that make your introduction and conclusion part and way forward ready beforehand. You should not rush in the end, or you should not you should not be in a position that in the examination hall you are thinking the definition of अरे organized crime क्या होता है, नॉन स्टेट एक्टर्स क्या होते हैं, ठीक है. You should not be in that position. So at least make sure that you are keeping your intro conclusion of the at least of the some of the static part ready. Okay, so that is the introduction one, and now we'll discuss about the body part. Wait, yes, see, what happens in 10 markers we have seen UPSC ask one part or two part, two means one dimension, and max to max two dimensions, okay, in the question. Whereas in 15 markers we have seen at least 2 to 3 dimension comes in the examination. So the primary thing we should keep in our mind is that we have to address all the dimension which is asked in the question. Earlier what UPSC used to do is that they used to properly segregate the mark of a particular heading. Suppose first they have given write down the causes of 1987 revolt, okay, then there comes the second heading, okay, about the women's participation in the revolt of 1987. So UPSC used to clear cut highlight, okay, this particular dimension, if you write this you will get this much marks, maximum marks carries, okay, similarly for the second point. But now UPSC is not doing that. So my point is, try to address each and every part of the question adequately. It should not be like you are over addressing this part and you're under addressing this part. So try to strike balance. If it is only one part question, then at least write 6 to 7 question 7 points under that, okay. If there are two parts, then at least try to write 4 to 5 points, and if there are three parts in 15 markers, then at least write 4 to 5 point under each heading, okay. This is how they see. Even if you're writing 4 points under each, you will end up writing 12 points along with introduction and conclusion. They are separate, okay. Similarly in 10 marker also, if you're addressing two part, then at least even if you're writing 4 points, then you end up writing 8 points. For 10 markers 8 points are sufficient, okay. So try to balance things, try to address each and every part adequately. It should not be like you are overwriting or over addressing one part and under addressing other, okay. So that is related to the like addressing the dimensions in the part. The other part of the body is that wait, yes, okay, heading. See, for heading what you can do is that try to take that heading from the question itself, okay. Let us say I just said the one question, this thing, discuss the contribution of civil society in increasing the women's effective participation in the state legislature. So first I will write the role of civil society in women empowerment, and second I will write how it led to increasing women's participation in the state legislature. So try to take heading from the question itself, okay. Let the examiner get this impression that you are addressing the demand of the question, okay. So always try to make sure you are taking heading from the question. This will show the examiner the coherence, okay. So even if you don't have the content also, then at least try to make heading from the question itself, then fit in your content in under those heading. Whatever you have, try to fit in that content under those heading, but try to take heading from the question itself. Yes, if you have any other doubt, okay. See, whatever the question is, try to take heading from the question itself. In quote, suppose, okay, so ethics, we're talking about ethics, okay. See, they give okay, you're talking about GS. See, in GS what happens, they purposely they give one particular code to give you the context. Okay, under this context I'm asking you a question, then they ask the question. Let us say they will discuss the they give the question based on the lieutenant governor versus Delhi issue. They will give the judgment as it is, and then they will ask, in this contest discuss the role of LG in ensuring the cooperative federalism. Okay, so they try to give you the context, they try to set the boundaries, that within this boundary, within this particular theme, you have to write the answer. You don't have to address the topic holistically, just according to this particular quote you have to write the answer. So that is just to set the context. Okay, getting my point? Another issue which comes frequently is that most of the student are they keep on asking that whether to write in a paragraph format or they have to write on a point wise format. See, both are okay if you know paragraph versus point wise format. See, both are okay if you know that when to stop. Secondly, if you're writing that concisely. Thirdly, if you're meeting the demand of the question. But pointers are good to go with, reason being that you get more space. You basically you utilize the space properly. You get the proper uh, I would say the space to write more and more point, more and more dimensions. So under point wise format you can add more dimensions in point. Whereas issue with the major issue with the paragraph is we overstretch that paragraph. We end up writing one single point under 4 to 5 lines, whereas in those 4 to 5 lines we can write 2 to 3 points here. So that is the major issue with the paragraph format. But if you know that you can write paragraph in a very concise way, then it is good to go with. Okay, but just imagine that you are writing around 4 points, 4 para, and you are writing 4 points, whereas some student here was writing around, end up writing 7 to 8 points, addressing all your key points, plus additionally giving 2 to 3 dimension. So that fellow will fetch more marks. So to simplify the entire answer writing, it is I would suggest that we should go with point wise format. And if you are good in paragraph format, you know how to write concisely, then only you should go with paragraph format. Okay, yes, that is the second, because the issue with the paragraph is that we overstretch things. Okay, and when you write in a point wise format, you know, okay, this is where I have to stop. I've written only one point, I have to write more points. So this keep consciously this will hit you, okay, I have to stop, I have to add more points. Okay, whereas this is not the case with the paragraph. Okay, yes. Pardon, if you don't have. Okay, how to generate points in the examination hall. See, again, uh see, by the time when you will appear for the mains now, you will read a lot of content. Okay, and that you'll get to know that, okay, that content can be used interchangeably, it is not rigid as such. Okay, if you suppose you don't know uh, clearly about the civil society, but NGO is also part of the civil society only. If you know about the NGO, then you can write there also. So most of the content can be interchangeably used here and there. So by the time you will appear for mains, believe me, you will have a lot of content, and suppose the question is quite tough, so that will be tough for each and everyone. So at that situation, as I told you earlier, that try to write something, but try to strike the coherence. And how you will strike it, how you will ensure the coherence, you will take the heading from the question itself. Okay, you will try to fit in your content under that heading, so there is a possibility that you will get marks. Okay, so you don't worry about that. Meanwhile, you will whenever you will appear for mains, believe me, by the time you will get enough time, and you will revise a lot of things, you will read also a lot of things, so you will have sufficient content under each and heading, each and every heading, so you will be comfortable enough to write. Okay, So this is more or less related to the body part. So what we have learned here, that each and every part of the question must be addressed adequately. So if there's a two part of the question or else three part of the question, we have to write each and every part. Okay. Secondly, we have discussed about the paragraph format and the point wise format. I have told you that okay, in point wise format you will get more time and more chance to write more and more dimensions. And if you are good in paragraph format, you know how to write concisely, how to complete your para within 3 to 4 lines also, then it is good to go with para. Otherwise, go with the point wise format and this will really simplify your answer. Okay. Yes. Then comes the next part, that is conclusion. Wait. Okay. Conclusion. See, conclusion, what is the biggest issue with the conclusion is that people don't know what to write. They just see it as an extension of body. Okay, it is not an extension of body, it is a totally a separate thing. Okay, and there's also a difference between a way forward and a conclusion. People often get confused with that. Way forward and conclusion both are same. So in 10 markers, I understand there's an issue of time limit, there's an issue of word limit. So in that scenario, if the question is issue based, you can even end up with the way forward. But in 15 markers, you get enough time, you get enough word limit, okay, enough space to write. So at that time, try to write a conclusion as well as way forward separately. Okay, do not use this thing interchangeably in the answer, sorry, in the conclusion. So conclusion, the most important thing which I want to highlight here is that people try to uh, write limitation, issues, challenges, sometimes challenges also under conclusion part. Avoid doing that. Conclusion is basically to summarize the entire topic. It is basically to show a bird's eye view, you know like it is basically an conclusion is basically holistic in nature. Like पूरी summary लिख दी मैंने अच्छे से, वे फॉरवर्ड मतलब अच्छे से एक bird's eye view दे दिया about that particular topic. And in that scenario, try to avoid writing the challenges, issues and limitation under that heading. ठीक है. कंक्लूजन हमेशा क्या होना चाहिए, पॉजिटिव नोट होना चाहिए, उसमें ऑप्टिमिस्टिक एंड होना चाहिए. ठीक है. एंड यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट कंक्लूजन में कोई भी एक्सट्रीम वर्ड्स अवॉइड मत करो, ऐड मत करो मतलब. ठीक है. People extreme word as in extreme word such as I have seen people, there was one question on the media is the fourth pillar of the democracy. I have seen people writing that Godi media, WhatsApp university, all these things. Stop writing that. Okay, so these are the very extreme words. So in conclusion, and conclusion narrow भी नहीं होना चाहिए. For example, some issue based question is going on, let us say related to the infrastructure, PPP. ठीक है. So do you really think that I have seen people writing that okay, we should set up an independent commission to address the issue of PPP. This is factually correct. This recommendation was given by the 𝐂𝐭 committee. But try and understand this कि एक सिंगल रिकमेंडेशन से क्या पूरा PPP ठीक हो जाएगा, क्या नहीं होगा ना, not possible. So way forward is different. Way forward में आप at least you write 3 to 4 points and then conclude that okay, infrastructure is very imperative, okay, for the growth and development of the nation, and government is taking proactive steps such as PM Gati Shakti XYZ, okay, in the right direction to improve the infrastructure quality of the country. Okay, so my point is way forward separately लिखना है, conclusion अलग चीज़ होती है. Conclusion basically more or less value laden होता है. ठीक है. Way forward is qualitative in nature कि ये कर लो, ऐसा करो, वैसा करो. This is how we can address the situation. Whereas conclusion is value laden. कि this will ensure सबका साथ सबका विकास. This will help in new India. ठीक है. Yes, we can even conclude with the directive principle of state policy, DPSPs. ठीक है, वी कैन इवन कंक्लूड विद द प्रीएम्बल में जो वैल्यूज दी हुई है, वी कैन इवन कंक्लूड विद द एसडीजीज, ठीक है। तो कंक्लूजन जो है इट हैज़ अ वाइडर कॉनोटेशन एंड क्वालिटेटिव कॉनोटेशन, वेयर एज वे फॉरवर्ड हैज़ अ क्वांटिटेटिव वन, कि बेसिकली वो एक लिस्ट ऑफ मेजर्स है कि आप ऐसे करोगे तो ये इशू एड्रेस हो जाएगा, ठीक है। So whenever, and secondly, keep one thing in mind that even if the question is not demanding to write way forward, you have to write way forward, especially in an issue based question. uh, Let me simply ask you, suppose there is an issue of uh, issue going on in the Western Ghat related to some of the environmental degradation, and government set up a committee. So do you really think that government has set up a committee just to find out the reasons why it is happening and how it is happening? No, no. To give measures, to give suggestions. Yes. So whenever there's an issue based question, make sure you are writing way forward. You are specifically writing way forward, even if it is not directly asked in the question. ये समझ लो करके कि वो implicitly पूछा है तो मुझे लिखना है, समझा पॉइंट, है ना? So you have to write way forward and then you have to conclude. Okay. So conclusion के लिए I've told you few things, that avoid writing issues, challenges, limitation in the conclusion. Avoid keeping the negative tone in the conclusion. Conclusion should always be on a positive tone, and conclusion should not be a narrow, that एक particular चीज़ आपने लिख दी करके कि हाँ इससे ये इशू दूर हो जाएगा, नो, ठीक है, इट शुड हैव अ वाइडर डायमेंशन। तो एक वाइडर डायमेंशन होना चाहिए। You can add, you can conclude with the DPSP or the values given in the preamble or the SDGs. You can even conclude with the appreciating the effort of the government, ठीक है। Try to appreciate the effort of the government, because in the end you are going to be part of that machinery, ठीक है। So that will show an optimistic end, ठीक है। एक बोलते हैं there's a hope, still hope lurking somewhere, कि हाँ यार एक hope है कि through this the issue will be improved or the issue will be addressed, okay। So that is what you have to write in conclusion part. See, negative tone, let us say let me think, okay, let's say there's a question on सूरत split, नेगेटिव था, ठीक है, बट कंक्लूजन में आप लिख सकते हो कि वी लर्न फ्रॉम इट सूरत स्प्लिट एंड वी अवॉइडेड सिमिलर स्प्लिट इन 1916 आफ्टर द होम रूल लीग, ठीक है। सिमिलर स्प्लिट होने वाला था, वी सॉरी 1922 ड्यूरिंग दिस थिंग, कांग्रेस सोशलिस्ट पार्टी जो फॉर्म हुई थी, ठीक है, वी अवॉइडेड द सिमिलर स्प्लिट। गांधी जी सेड नो, वी विल पार्टिसिपेट इन द इलेक्शन, जो भी सेंट्रल इलेक्शन आने वाले थे, we will participate. So we learned from the the negative consequences of the 1907 Surat split, and yes, so even the tone of the question is negative, we can conclude positively. And please make sure that whatever introduction, whatever you're writing in the introduction and the conclusion, that should be aligned with the demand of the question. It should not be like from here and there. It should align with the demand of the question, ठीक है। अब अगर the question is regarding the infrastructure में related to the railways, so in conclusion में we should write about the railways rather than the entire infrastructure, ठीक है। So try to align your intro as well as conclusion with the demand of the question. If intro is regarding let us say civil society, if the question is regarding the civil society and their its role in the women's participation in the election, okay, so your intro should be somewhere surrounding that only, and your conclusion should also be surrounding that only, rather than कि हाँ यार कि this helps in awareness, human right, this and that, ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है। So that is related to the part of the content structuring. Now next point is partial structuring. So इसमें क्या होता है basically, it is more about your presentation part, ठीक है। The entire idea of this is that your paper should be neat, clean, organized, ठीक है, एक ऑर्गेनाइज वे में होना चाहिए। योर स्पेस शुड बी प्रॉपरली यूटिलाइज्ड, ओके, यू आर गिविंग प्रॉपर मार्जिन्स, ओके, एंड यू आर अंडरलाइनिंग की पॉइंट्स, की टर्म्स टू ब्रिंग द अटेंशन ऑफ द एग्जामिनर, ठीक है, तो एक तो था presentation part. This is the presentation part, okay, where you are underlining keywords. Why underlining? Why underlining is important? To bring the attention of the examiner. You must have seen the topper's copy where they are, suppose the question is on Panchayati Raj institution, and they will in the end they conclude that it leads to participatory democracy, or it leads to social justice, it leads to grassroots level development, and they will underline only those keywords because those keywords are related to that particular topic, and this will give a sense to the examiner, okay, yes, the demand, they are writing according to the demand of the question, and they are writing the keywords, key terminologies associated with that. So underlining is important to bring attention of the examiner. See, the entire agenda of the special structuring is that simplify things for the examiner. उसके लिए मेहनत आसान कर दो थोड़ा. Do not force the examiner to, you know, to go here and there to search for points. Okay, he's searching for examples, he's searching for data. Simplify things for the examiner. Entire agenda ही यही है इसका, that you must simplify things for the examiner. ठीक है, and how you will do that? Underline keywords, keep your paper neat and clean, you know, uh, highlight you know, examples separately like you have done, I've seen in your copy. ठीक है, okay, पॉइंट डिफरेंट होना चाहिए, एग्जाम्पल सेपरेटली लिखा होना चाहिए, सिंप्लीफाई थिंग्स, उसके लिए सिंपल कर दो. किसी दिस इज द डेटा, आई हैव अंडरलाइन दिस इज द एग्जाम्पल, आई हैव रिटन सेपरेटली. Okay, I am using the you know, the space wisely. I have seen that, let us say this is the paper, people are writing point, and from here they are writing example. What you have to do with this space? Why are you wasting the space? hmm. हाँ हाँ ठीक है, बट यूज द स्पेस वाइजली ना. इट शुड बी लाइक प्रॉपरली अलाइंड. एक सिमिलर स्ट्रक्चर दिखना चाहिए थ्रू आउट. आई हैव सीन पीपल राइटिंग यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल, बस लाइन यहाँ पे खत्म करनी है. डोंट डू दैट. ओके, तो प्रॉपरली आप वर्क ऑन दैट. तो ये सब कुछ चीज़ें हैं स्पेशल स्ट्रक्चरिंग विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, दिस विल गिव यू एडिशनल मार्क्स ओनली. 0.5 आपको एक्स्ट्रा ही देगा जाएगा वो. एंड दिस इज समथिंग यू कैन नॉट डू इन दी एंड, बिकॉज इन दी एंड यू विल बी वेरी बिजी विद दी योर कॉन्टेंट पार्ट. सो एटलीस्ट ये वाला जो पार्ट है ना, इस पे काम करो, और एक ही एजेंडा अपने दिमाग में रखो करके कि you have to simplify things for the examiner. Don't force the examiner to, you know, look here and there. ठीक है, प्रॉपरली हेडिंग दो आप. ठीक है, हेडिंग उसके सब पार्ट दो, मेंशन करो, सब हेडिंग लिखो. ठीक है, ये सब चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट है अंडर दिस हेडिंग. हम्म हम्म हम्म. ओके ओके. यस. हम्म हम्म. हाँ यू कैन, हाँ यू कैन मेक अ बॉक्स. इट इज़ ओके, इट इज़ ओके, इट इज़ कम्प्लीटली ओके. यू आर सेइंग दैट सपोज यू आर राइटिंग अ लाइन एंड दिस इज सम की टर्म, तो आप इसको बॉक्स. हाँ ठीक है, यस यस यस. बेसिकली आप सिंप्लीफाई कर रहे हो चीज़ों के लिए. ठीक है, सेकेंडली क्या होता है इसमें? फ्लो चार्ट्स. ओके, फ्लो चार्ट्स है, डायग्राम्स है, मैप है. अभी कहाँ कहाँ यूज़ करना है देखो मैं बताता हूँ आपको. अब GS1 में यू नो जोग्राफी के क्वेश्चन है, हिस्ट्री के क्वेश्चन है, यू कैन ड्रॉ अ मैप. ठीक है, आपने मैप बनाया, लेट अस से भक्ति मूवमेंट पे क्वेश्चन है, बट अभी भक्ति मूवमेंट पे क्वेश्चन है, एंड द क्वेश्चन, डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इज दैट हाउ भक्ति मूवमेंट लेड टू दी, यू नो, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ रीजनल लिटरेचर. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे कोई मैप का सीन नहीं बनता, बट यू कैन स्टिल ड्रॉ अ मैप हेयर. यहाँ पे आप लिख सकते हो करके कि ओके, तुकाराम जी, आत्माराम जी, एंड ऑल द भक्ति सेंट फ्रॉम साउथ इंडिया. Andal, sorry, Maharashtra. Andal is from here. Ramanuja is from this side. Shankar Deva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from this side. ठीक है, and Kabir is from this side. Guru Nanak ji is from this side. Meera is this side. So at least this will give a sense to the examiner, okay, you know. So whatever additional point you have to write, you can use diagram for that, you can use flow chart for that, you can use, you know, map for that, for additional point. This will be like a value addition. Now don't do this. Suppose you have written here ki हाँ, let's say Namdev has written Deepavali, ठीक है, and Kabir has written some book, okay, and again you are writing the same point in theoretical way. नहीं, it should be the additional one. समझ रहे हो? ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि सेम पॉइंट्स को आप नीचे लिख रहे हो जो आपने मैप में रिप्रेजेंट किया है, ठीक है, दैट इज बेसिकली रिपीटेशन, एंड रिपीटेशन विल नॉट हेल्प यू टू गेट मार्क्स, दैट विल बी वेस्ट ऑफ एफर्ट, ठीक है। तो जो भी वैल्यू एडेड पॉइंट है ना, वॉट एवर वैल्यू एडेड पॉइंट यू हैव, ठीक है, आपको लग रहा है कि हाँ यार ये मैं बना सकता हूँ, ठीक है, दिस विल हेल्प द एग्जामिनर टू नो मोर अबाउट दिस। लेट अस से कि सपोज देयर इज वन क्वेश्चन ऑन एनजीओ वर्सेस एफसीआरए, ठीक है, कि गवर्नमेंट की फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन रेगुलेशन एक्ट वर्सेस एनजीओ। सो द डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटेड टू दैट। अब यहाँ पे यू कैन मेक अ डायग्राम, यहाँ पे यू कैन राइट रोल ऑफ एनजीओ and you can write around 4 or 5 points. This is an additional point. This is not the main demand of the question, but this is an additional point to show the importance of NGO. तभी तो ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है। अगर ये टॉपिक इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होता, एनजीओ इतने इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होते, तो ये क्वेश्चन आता नहीं आता, ठीक है। सो दिस इज एन एडिशनल पॉइंट, दिस इज नॉट द मेन डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, बट आप एक एडिशनल पॉइंट लिख सकते हो कि रोल ऑफ एनजीओ क्या है, रोल ऑफ एनजीओ, यस, एंड दिस विल शो द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ द एनजीओ, देन एड्रेस द डिमांड। तो आप मैप के यूज़ कर सकते हो, डायग्राम का यूज़ कर सकते हो, फ्लो चार्ट का यूज़ कर सकते हो टू बेसिकली टू फॉर द वैल्यू एडिशन। गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? यस। आफ्टर इंट्रोडक्शन at least this will हम्म, ठीक है, okay, see this is I am talking about whenever there is a issue, okay, and you have to write some additional point, so this is how you can write. अब साइक्लोन इज रिलेटेड टू द GS1, अब उसमें आप क्या बनाओगे? अब तो डायग्राम बनाओ ना साइड में। सी अगेन यू आर मिक्सिंग टू थिंग्स, ठीक है, मैप जो भी स्पेसिफिकली डिमांड है उसको एड्रेस करने के लिए आपने सिंप्लीफाई करने के लिए आपने डायग्राम बना दिया साइक्लोन का, ठीक है, कि भाई यहाँ पे लो प्रेशर बन रहा है, हाई प्रेशर बन रहा है, सो एंड सो फोर्थ, ओके गुड। बट जब भी कोई एडिशनल पॉइंट देना होता है तब आप ये वैल्यू एडिशन के लिए यूज़ कर सकते हो, ठीक है। आई डोंट हैव मच टाइम टू राइट, तुरंत मैं उसका एक मैप बनाऊंगा, एक डायग्राम बनाऊंगा, एंड डायग्राम आई विल राइट कि ओके दिस इज द इम्पोर्टेंस, ठीक है, ओके, रोल ऑफ एनजीओ, सॉरी, यस, सो यू कैन ड्रॉ मैप डायग्राम एंड, बट ये ओवर नहीं करना है आपको, हर एक पॉइंट में जहाँ लगे करके कि ओके टू मीट द डिमांड, आपको लग रहा है कि हाँ यार थोड़ा वैल्यू एडिशन की ज़रूरत है, ज़्यादा कुछ मेरे पास है नहीं लिखने के लिए, एट दैट टाइम यू कैन डू दिस, ठीक है। और इंडिया का मैप जैसे मैंने बताया, आपने भी बताया अभी, ठीक है, वी कैन राइट, ओके, सो यस, सो हाउ टू रीच टू द डिजायर्ड लेवल ऑफ आंसर राइटिंग, आप अभी वहाँ पे कैसे पहुँचेंगे हम वहाँ पे डिजायर्ड लेवल, ठीक है। सो द वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग इज go back to the content building is very important, and प्री की प्रिपरेशन के पहले ही you have time to build content. If you think that after prelims अगर आप content बना दोगे तो you won't get much time, because most of the time after prelims is for revision, for answer writing and for the value addition part, but एक basic content required होता है, ठीक है। Try to improve the quality of your content. So let's say कि you have written one question today, for example NGO versus FCRA, and in your notes that is not there, so try to add from model answer to your notes regarding that particular topic. थोड़ा सा गूगल करो उसके बारे में, ठीक है. There are so many sources available. Do not go for a particular topic for to multiple sources. एक दो टॉपिक से आपने देखा, ऑनलाइन देखा आपने, you will get enough information and that information is sufficient to write answer. Okay, so whenever you write answer you get to know, okay, I don't know about this topic, go back to content. ठीक है. So try to improve your content with the model answers which is there, or I would say toppers copies are available online. सब जगह दुनिया जहाँ की मतलब copies available है, ठीक है. If you get any example from the newspaper or something, ठीक है, वहाँ से try to work on it, ठीक है. Try to work on it. So build content and make your content ready. Especially कुछ topics होते हैं, for example disaster management. Wait. For example, disaster management is there. That is one topic. Another topic is let us say internal security. When I know UPSC is asking 3 to 4 questions from this particular topic, then you should keep it ready. You should keep the notes ready of this particular topic. When you there, it is asking around 2 questions from particular this point, disaster management. ठीक है, छोटा concise एक syllabus का part है. Hardly it will take like 3 to 4 days to prepare this, or maximum for a week to prepare this. So ये सब जो topics है, make sure these such contents are ready. ठीक है, और इसको अच्छे से मतलब consolidate कर लो इनको before the examination, so that there will be something in your hand to write. So these are the low hanging fruits, and we never pay attention to these low hanging fruits. Our entire attention to is for this thing, history, polity, economy. This takes our entire time, but we never pay due attention to the low hanging fruits. ठीक है, and then we say करके कि यार अच्छे से हो गया, पॉलिटी अच्छे से हो गया, बट इसमें रह गया. ठीक है, गवर्नेंस इज देयर, इन पेपर 1 इंडियन सोसाइटी इज देयर. लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट्स है. व्हेन यू नो दे आर आस्किंग क्वेश्चन ऑन पॉवर्टी, पॉपुलेशन, women empowerment, every time they're asking about all these things, secularism, these are the low hanging fruits. So एक बार में उसके नोट्स बना के ख़त्म करो, and believe me, it won't take much time. And please never be under this impression that your notes are not complete. You have to go through the at least 5 to 6 sources to to complete your notes. Maximum 1 or 2 sources, that is sufficient, because that will address 60 to 70, or I would say 80% of the requirement, because the demand of the question will be such that in the examination hall you have to make an answer. वहीं पे बनाना पड़ेगा, ठीक है, with the content you have. So don't run after so many content. जो है आपके पास उसको consolidate करो, and even if you don't have, just refer 1 or 2 source, maximum 2 source. ठीक है, revise them multiple time and consolidate. And try ये सब low hanging fruits है in GS1 Indian society, in GS2 governance and social justice, in GS3 disaster management, science and technology, environment, and this one internal security. These are the low hanging fruits. ठीक है, तो जो low hanging fruits है उसको पहले consolidate कर लो, and it won't take much time. It will take very less time to complete all these things. Okay, and second point is embellishments. So क्या होता है basically, you go through newspaper, you go through a lot of current affair from here and there, this magazine, that magazine. So try to have a gist of examples, case studies, data, and जैसे पद्मा अवार्डीज़ हैं अभी रिसेंटली, तो एटलीस्ट कुछ ना कुछ पद्मा अवार्डीज़ होंगे विच इज़ अकॉर्डिंग टू दी सिलेबस. जैसे कि इन्वायरमेंटल कंजर्वेशन में किसी ने कंट्रीब्यूट किया होगा, ठीक है, तो एक प्रॉपर जिस्ट बन सकती है ऑफ एग्जांपल्स ऑफ केस स्टडीज़, ठीक है, एंड डिफरेंट थिंग्स जो भी है. तो आपको ये चीज़ पहले ही प्रिपेयर करके रखनी है एवरी डे. It is not possible that even in an entire day you won't get a single fact, data, case study, example, initiative मिल जाते हैं. ठीक है, एक प्रॉपर जिस्ट बनाओ. Even if you are reading newspaper religiously, believe me, within 3 to 4 months you will have a sheet of around 30 to 40 pages, and that will make a huge difference in your answer writing, because whatever examples you are writing, whatever data you are writing, initiatives, case studies, examples you will not find in the answers of other student, and that will make your answer stand apart from the other. That will create a huge difference. Okay, this seems very small, but believe me, this will make a huge difference. You don't, I'm not asking you to put an additional effort. You just have to make a, take a book and divide it into 4 parts, GS 1 2 3 4, and whatever you're reading, suppose you got to know about today something about GS2, some initiative regarding the tribal healthcare, or some sort of development. Okay, in that scenario, yes, yes, in that scenario, this will really help. Okay. Yes, analyze daily answer writing. Again, daily answer writing. Why I'm saying daily answer writing? Daily answer writing is important. Try to write daily 1 or 2 questions. Okay, and either take help of your friends, or take help of any of the institution which is helping you to write answers in an organized way. Okay, which is guiding you. And if you don't want to, if you want help of your friend who have written mains, take help, but try to write answers on a daily basis. At least whatever you have studied today, try to attempt answering on that. Okay, so this will help you to improve your answer writing. This will help you to gauge your progress. This will help you to work on your weaknesses, and believe me, in the end this will really going to help you to improve your overall performance in the examination. Okay, so that is all. And yes, another one is analyze, incorporate, and consolidate. Analyze means, yes, suppose you have written today one answer today, do not go back to the next schedule. Okay, just check what mistakes you have committed. Okay, how you can further improve this thing. Try to compare this with the model answer. Okay, work on it, and then go ahead. Analyze your paper, analyze your mistakes, analyze the areas of strength, analyze the areas of weakness, find out the reasons. Okay, improve, go back to your content, improve, and then go ahead, then jump to the next topic. Okay, so that is all in today's session. And if you have any query, uh, please come to LevelUp IAS. We will be there to help you out. Okay, thank you.